Good day guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we'll take a look at the most essential must-have accessories for the Insta360 X4 and how these accessories have helped me get the most out of the X4 when I'm out traveling, hiking, riding my motorcycle, and so on. And if you want to grab any of these accessories along the way, there is a link to all of them down in the description below. Now, let's start with the first one and the most obvious one, which is a selfie stick. So this is the 114 centimeter selfie stick. And this is something that I've previously used a lot with the Insta360 X3. However, Insta360 did not too long ago come out with a carbon fiber 1 meter selfie stick. And this is called the Action Invisible selfie stick. It's a pretty long name for a selfie stick. This is made out of carbon fiber, so it's extremely lightweight, even with the added weight to the X4 compared to the X3. So there's little to no bend when it's fully extended to 1 meters compared to the aluminum alloy one, which has a little bit more bend to it. So that's the main difference between these two. And to be honest, 1 meter is the perfect length if you ask me. And because this is made out of carbon fiber, it's much stronger and it's much easier to use underwater as well, just to mention that. So this is something that I can highly recommend. And when it comes to a length comparison, they're pretty similar in length. So you won't actually notice the difference in length or those 14 centimeters when you're using them. So the carbon fiber one is the one that I highly recommend, and I think is a must-have selfie stick because it's extremely well built. The next one is a simple tripod, and this is something you might have laying around already, but in my opinion this is a must-have. And it doesn't have to be an expensive one, just something that allows you to put the X4 down in a safe way so you can get some different angles of yourself, some tracking shots of yourself walking past the camera on a hike, for example, or whenever you want to do a time-lapse. And even the smallest one would do. So what I'm using here is the one from the DJI Pocket 3, and I find this to be the perfect all-around travel size, and it just allows me to mount it to the X4. I can put the X4 down, and now I can take some walk-by shots if I want to do that without risking the X4 tipping over. So a smaller tripod, definitely worth getting. The next one is something that honestly I can't travel without because it's so versatile, not only with the X4 but also any other pocket-sized camera. This is the Insta360 Monkey Tail, and this is such a great accessory, and I can mount this to just about anything, which allows me to capture more unique shots than if I were just using a standard tripod. And time-lapse, as I mentioned earlier, when we were in Hawaii last year, I really wanted to capture a time-lapse of the sunrise from our balcony. So if I didn't have the Monkey Tail, my only option would be to put the camera on a table, which would also include the fence. But since I just got my hands on the Monkey Tail here, I just twisted this around the fence and I managed to capture this amazing sunrise. But when you're out traveling, you might want to capture some aerial shots as well, just to mix things up a bit. But maybe you don't have a drone and you have the Insta360 X4. Then the 3 meter selfie stick is what you should get. It might not be your most used accessory with the X4, but with this you can get some pretty creative shots. And for me and my use, this is always in my travel bag. It's something that I use more than the 1 meter selfie stick, I would say, because most of the times when we're out traveling, I want to capture those wow shots. And I want to capture some B-rolls as well. And even though I get the same effects and the same wow shots with the shorter selfie stick, I just love the versatility of this larger one, which can extend to 3 meters, or you can just keep it at, this length here. And just because it's 3 meters long, it doesn't mean that I have to use it fully extended to 3 meters. Actually, most of the times I'm using a length of 170 centimeters, and I find this to give the best result and the least amount of bend. But if you're curious to know how I capture unique travel shots at different angles and lengths with the X4, you should check out my next essential accessory, which is my top-selling X4 cheat sheets. Over the past year, I've developed a unique travel guide to help you get the most out of the X4 and X3 with included settings, creative shots, accessories, and how to use these to capture better videos that look different from everyone else. There's also dedicated sheets for traveling, cinematic videos, vlogging, underwater, motovlogging, and more to make sure that every aspect of your life is captured in the best possible way. So if you want to learn more about the top-selling X4 cheat sheets, check them out down below. Now, previously I mentioned the monkey tail, which is probably the most versatile and flexible and useful accessory that you could get. But there is those times you want to secure the camera in a better way. Maybe you ride a motorcycle, maybe you just want to capture some aerial shots and you don't want to buy the 3-meter selfie stick for that one-time use. Then the option could be to get the Insta360 motorcycle clamp. Even though this is sold as a motorcycle clamp, it's basically just a clamp, like any other clamps. But the difference is that this has a new design now, so it's easier to maneuver, easier to tighten, and it's more flexible than the previous motor clamp and any other clamp for that matter. So for those times you just can't use the monkey tail or a basic tripod, this would do the job, and is something I've been using to capture my rides, time lapses, creative shots. So this is not just a motorcycle clamp, but more of a travel clamp, I would say. And you could also mount this on a shelf, for example, and combine that with the use of a selfie stick. So there's more use cases to this clamp than you might think. Now, the next one is aimed more towards travelers, I would say, and this is the magnetic selfie stick holster. So you have one part here, this one, which you secure to your backpack, and you have this other part here, which you just screw on to the selfie stick. So instead of always having to carry the camera or put it back in your backpack when you're not using it, you can easily use this to snap it into the holster in a more convenient way. So the next time you want to record something, you won't have these delays where you need to open your bag, find the camera, take off the sleeve, and then hit record. And you can actually use this as your POV mount as well, which is a lot more comfortable than using a chest harness. And it actually looks pretty decent, especially if you shoot 360 videos in 8K 30 FPS. Now, the last accessory is a must-have. You can't not have this accessory because you need this in order to record videos. And what I'm talking about is micro SD cards. Then there's a lot of brands out there that claim to have the better one, but what works for me is the SanDisk Extreme cards. And this is what I've been using with all my cameras, all my 360 cameras. And matter of fact, I use these with all my other action cameras as well, and all my drones, and basically everything that requires a micro SD card, I use SanDisk. So with the X4 recording 8K resolution videos, it also means that these files will be a bit larger. So what I recommend is to get the 512 gigabyte cards. They are a bit expensive, but it's better to grab 1 or 2 of these larger ones than 4 or 5 smaller ones. And this also keeps things a little bit more organized, if you ask me. There you have my essential most used accessories for the Insta360 X4. I'll leave a link to everything in this video down in the description below if you want to check it out. But I'm also curious to know which accessories that you use and which accessories that you recommend using with the X4. So make sure to leave those down in the comment section below. And if you found this video helpful, let me know by dropping a like. And on your way down there as well, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That would be really appreciated. So until next time, take care, bye bye.